Hi, this is Steve, and this series is all about bite-sized writing. And what do I mean by that? Here's what I mean. Just about every writer I've ever met thinks they need to write for hours and 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 hours. They want to compare themselves to, I don't know, whoever they think the greats are, whether it's Hemingway or O'Neill or August Wilson or you name it, Aaron Sorkin. And they claim from what they've learned that those people have written and are writing 6, 7, 5, 4, 12 hours a day. Stephen King is a notable example of somebody who gets up every day from what he says and puts out a chunk of time. But that doesn't have to be you. I think one of the things that I've discovered and continue to soothe writers about is this sense of comparing ourselves to other people and thinking that unless we do it the way so and so did it, we are not worth our salt. That's a problematic notion that I think defeats and punishes and hurts many, many, many creatives. And I'm here in a personal campaign to put a stop to that self abuse. So, bite-sized writing, I think, is one of the things that we can do. I have certainly written things in my experience in 15 minutes a day, 30 minutes a day, an hour a day, or even 2 hours a day if I have that time. But the truth is that many of us out there, and this is probably you, are incredibly busy with other life sorts of things that may or may not afford the time for you to put in huge chunks of time on your writing. And does that mean that you're not committed? Does that mean that you're not a good writer or dedicated to the craft or that you're not getting anything done? It doesn't have to mean that. And that's where we come down to this fundamental, essential piece of bite-sized writing. So here's what I mean. This particular video is about bite-sized writing an hour a day. So let's say you decide you're going to write for an hour. What does that look like? How does it happen? Well, one thing is, I think you go to your calendar and you put that block, that hour on your calendar in some space that reserves the spot that says, I'm making a commitment to that hour. That's number one. You do that perhaps a day or a couple of days in advance, or maybe you do it in the morning and say, I'm going to carve out this chunk of time this afternoon. You can actually do it today if you haven't, if you're early enough in the day where you have that kind of time. Then, and this I really believe in, you get a timer. This is the one that I use, which I love. And you can see the hour already marked on there because that's what I did today. And you sit down, you hit the timer, you start it, and you just go on whatever you're working on. And writing, as far as I'm concerned, could be all sorts of things. It could be actually putting words on the page, creating scenes and dialogue. It could be the research you need to do in order to do that. It could be creating a log line or an outline. It could be doing a character sketch. It could be brainstorming the next idea. Whatever it is, you go for that hour. And when the hour stops, you stop. It's a deep and powerful commitment. And if you do it day after day after day after day after day, you'll really build some momentum to create something that you're really interested in. And you'll discover little by little as you go what you need to do next, how you feel about the things you did, and how you can keep on keeping on in terms of doing that hour the next day and the next, or whether you decide it's that hour 3 days a week, or that hour 5 days a week, or that hour 2 days a week. The commitment and the timing makes that bite-sized writing chunk really, really effective. You will be surprised if you do that for enough time. You do that for, let's say a month. You'll have a bunch of things to look at, reread, rewrite, think about, and maybe you'll be launching yourself toward a brand new project. And that's the magic of bite-sized writing. Check out all the things that there are, soup to nuts, on the Your Creative Life webpage, where you can sign up for my newsletter, which comes out once a month, and where you can also find ways, if you want, to reach out to me so that I can help you improve your writing mojo, improve your writing life for the rest of your life. Because I believe that the stuff that comes out of you in a heartfelt, centered way, those stories that you put out in the world, that's the lifeblood of humanity. And I think we who are creative owe ourselves the opportunity to really put those stories out in the world, to leave a legacy for all of those who are here and all of those who will come in the future. Subscribe to this channel if you dig it. New videos every single week. Thanks for watching. I'll see you next time.